Welcome to Life on Purpose, where we talk all things health, wellness, and living your life on your terms. I'm your host, Brandy Eilert. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited for you guys to hear today's guest. Emily Kurth from Coco June has been somebody who I have followed since pretty much the beginning of her career. She creates abstract art and lifestyle goods, but with the added twist of positive messages and self-love and acceptance. And she just has this really fun, interesting vibe. You can't help but to feel good when, not only when you're around her and when you talk to her, but just the work that she puts out there. And it's kind of a bright spot on the internet where it's not always very encouraging and positive, and just the messages that she puts out to the world is something that I've really, really admired about her and her work. So I'm really, really excited for you guys to hear this interview today. So let's go ahead and hop right in. Emily, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I am super grateful that you're here. I appreciate your time. I know that your time is valuable and you're a super busy woman, so thank you for being here. I would love to hear just a little bit in your own words about who you are, what you do, and your business, Coco June.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, and as of now, I'm not really that busy. The second week of January, and January is a slow time for retailers, which is fine by me right now. I am like,
because you had a super busy year.
Super busy.
Yes, which is great.
It was great, but and my oldest one is at home right now from college. He goes back on Monday, or Sunday. So I'm soaking up all this.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so yes, my name is Emily Kurth. I own Coco June, and it is a business where I create joyful art and lifestyle goods. So I do abstract painting, and I also do hand lettering on lifestyle goods like sweatshirts, tank tops, mugs, that type of thing. And it's all about spreading joyful messages, kindness. I'm a firm believer in surrounding ourselves with some positive messages, and there's actually a lot of science behind that. Yeah, that's what I do, and I've been doing it for 6 years now, and I absolutely love it.
That is fantastic. Well, I actually have at least 4 of your pieces. So, and you and I are twinning today.
Yes,
and I do everything in love sweatshirts.
Yes.
So that was my latest purchase. But so a fun story about the Stay Wild tank top. I bought that right before a trip to Costa Rica with my husband. And what I love most about kind of your apparel and the messages behind it is because it's a bit of an outward manifestation of where somebody can be feeling like in their lives. And at that point, that's kind of where I was. I was wanting to get away and do something fun and adventurous and scale waterfalls and whatnot, because, you know, like we talked about before, you can kind of get bogged down with motherhood and jobs and just like the day-to-day grind, that it's kind of fun to just get wild.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, the Stay Wild, and I loved your pictures from Costa Rica. A friend of mine screenshotted it and sent it to me and was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Brandy wearing a shirt in the most beautiful location ever." But the thing with the Stay Wild was I actually came up with that design at a point in my life where I was really feeling bogged down. I was, it's sometimes hard to be an adult. And I had 3 of my own kids, a husband, I was trying to run a business. And so I just kind of was really craving that feeling I had when I was a kid. And I was just, as a child, I was wild, and I just ran around all the time, and I was just free. I felt very free to be who I was. I hadn't gotten to the point in my life where I'm going back to before I was a teenager, and I didn't feel any kind of societal pressure to be skinny or pretty or any of that. I was just running around barefoot.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get back to that, and that's how the Stay Wild
message.
Yeah, that's how that came about. So
I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite shirts, and I also have the Be Grateful letter art, the block.
Oh yes.
And I also have the Stay Wild block because I loved it so much. So.
Yeah.
Which is fun because it's also something I want my kids to see, like around the house too, that they're getting older and starting to have these pressures on them, and I want them to know that it's okay to be who they are.
And you know what? I have to say, I was listening to a podcast this morning, actually, and I was like, oh, yes. And she was talking about creating a home that you create, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Sort of the vibe of your home. Yeah. And she talked about the art that you put in your home, and she talked about putting positive messages up for your kids to see, and I'm like a firm believer in that.
Yes.
And obviously that's what I do, and I have a piece of art hanging in my house now that I made, and my middle son, I had this giant canvas, and it had sat around for 6 months because I just didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Didn't know where you were going to
and
put
my
it.
middle son was like, can you make that look like the ocean? And I was like, yes. And then it sat around for like 3 more months, and then one day I just painted the ocean. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want my house, I want my family to like sit and be comfortable and at peace and look at paintings that are positive messages, and I could go on.
I mean, there's nothing that you can't go wrong. Basically, like putting those messages, out to your family, and we're so fortunate that you're putting it out to us, which is really great because I've followed your work for so long, and that is the thing about your business that I love the most is that you are completely real and authentic, and your work has these messages behind it that's okay. Being who you are is okay.
And to let go of this like crazy perfection facade. Like
which is maybe why I love it so much, because I have had that like thing about me. I mean, that is the one thing that I like the least about myself.
Yeah.
Is that like this perfectionist pressure.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've spent a lot of time this last like couple years working on, is like that pressure that I put on myself for this perfection that doesn't exist.
But also give yourself some grace for that, because you are who you are.
Oh, and I completely recognize it.
Yeah. And there's some good that comes out of it too.
Sure.
That's maybe why your photographs are so gorgeous.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. So let's kind of go backwards and talk about how Coco and June started. Okay. Which, by the way, I'm going to follow up by asking you where the name comes from, because that is the one thing I see on social media the most is everybody wants to know about the name. But
okay, so
let's go
back to how I started.
Let's go back to how it started. Yeah.
Okay, so I think you and I have very similar stories on how we started our businesses. And so when my youngest son was 1, he was a baby. He was still in diapers. So it was about 13 years ago. I had gone to my husband's Christmas party and wore terrible shoes, of course. And the next day, my big toe hurt. And I thought, those shoes messed me up, right? And so then a couple of weeks later, or maybe it might have even only been a week later, I started having joint pain and swelling in my hands. And so I asked my father-in-law, who is an orthopedic surgeon and a classic underreactor, let's just, if he's concerned, then there's something wrong, basically. Right. He's the kind of guy, like, you wobble in and he's like, you're fine, come on, go play.
Throw some dirt on it.
Yeah. So he said, I'm a little worried about this. I want you to see a rheumatologist. So I went to the rheumatologist, and he did his exam. And even at that point, I still kind of thought everything was going to be okay. Mm-hmm. I was 31 years old. I was still in this mindset that, like, my health wasn't really going to be that much of a concern until I was an old lady. Like, I wasn't really going to have any problems till I was old, right? I had 3 tiny kids that I was nose to the grindstone taking
chasing
care of.
around.
I never took a breath. And so he sat me down at his desk and he said, you have something called psoriatic arthritis, which I've never heard of before, but it's very similar to rheumatoid arthritis. And he said, there's no cure. It could potentially cripple you, and you have to take really heavy-duty medicine for the rest of your life that has serious side effects, including cancer. So it was one of those moments where, like in a movie, you feel like the room starts spinning, and it was this combination of me trying to hold it together because I was worried about, because I just wanted to be a normal person and not be a blubbering idiot,
Sure.
So I held it together, sort of, although I'm sure he saw right through me. And I laughed, and I called my husband, and he couldn't even understand what I was saying. I was like losing my mind. And so from that, I had what I call a little bit of a grieving period, where I just, they had to figure out the medicines and all that stuff, but I didn't know what to do with myself really. And then take it a couple more years later, I picked up a paintbrush, and I felt better. And it was like therapy for me. I didn't go through any kind of therapy or anything, which looking back, I really should have, but it was my therapy. And then I just really felt a spark and a passion come back in me that I hadn't felt since I was a child. And I was a really creative child, but I basically forgot all about that being an adult. So that's how Coco and June started. It has evolved over the past 6 years. I love where we are right now. I just love it. I love doing this so much.
I do. I mean, and it's such a crazy story how taking something that's so traumatizing and detrimental and super emotional and turning it into something you would have probably never imagined. So Coco and June wasn't on the radar. It wasn't something you set out to do, to have your own business, to create art and to create positive messages. But taking your mess and turning it into your message is something that, I mean, for anyone can feel super therapeutic.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we are super fortunate that, you're sharing your message with us. And again, like our stories are very similar in that you do go through like this grieving process, because you don't necessarily look outwardly sick, and it's not, you didn't just get a death sentence, but kind of grieving what you thought your life was going to look like.
Right.
And from the age of, what'd you say?
I was 31 at the time.
Knowing that you have a long life ahead of you and having, to deal with this new diagnosis for how many ever years is just kind of traumatizing a little bit. So
and it's really scary. There's just a lot of fear there, and I just was really afraid that I wasn't going to be able to use my hands. I mean, I would be in tears changing my baby's diaper. It was hard, and I just your brain goes places that you think, am I going to be in a wheelchair before my kids get out of school? Like, where are we going with this?
Right.
And so it's just really, I think, so good to have some kind of an outlet that helps kind of keep your mind off of all that negativity. Because I really firmly believe, and there's a lot of science behind this, that if you keep those negative thoughts running through your head, it might just happen.
It might just eat you alive. No, completely.
And so, anyway, And I'm just really blessed that I can use my hands, and that's what I do for a living, is I use my hands. I paint,
Right.
So it's all...
And so much more than that. I mean, working with wood. I mean, you use your hands a lot.
I do. I use my hands a lot,
So how is everything today, and what are some things that you're doing to kind of manage the disease and the pain and the inflammation other than the medication?
Yeah, so I'm very blessed. The medication works very well for me. It does have serious side effects, so I try to take my mind off of that.
Yeah,
but also, I lead a pretty healthy lifestyle. I really still need to work on my nutrition, but I started a little over a year ago. I meditate every single day, and that has really helped my stress level, like crazy helped my stress level. And it's also really helped me in my business. It's helped me with focus and concentration a lot. So
to kind of like weed out the unnecessary stuff and kind of focus in on what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. It actually, meditation physically changes your brain. So it really sort of takes the fear center, sort of shrinks the fear center, and makes the parts where your creativity, your focus, your love, all that grows. So it's fascinating. You can see it on like CAT scans and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But so yes, it has helped how I react to situations. I used to freak out over everything before it even happened. My husband would be like, I don't understand why you're freaking out over something that hasn't actually happened. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Let go. But it has helped me. Something happens now, and it's almost like I'm a little like delayed in my reaction, which, obviously if it was like I had to slam on the brakes in traffic, that's not
sure. There's some safety
like,
issues here, but
yeah, instead of freaking out over everything, the situation happens and I process it and then I react accordingly, which has really helped my stress level. It's helped me to look like less of an idiot at times, and it's helped with my relationships.
Sure.
A lot with my husband and my kids. It's just, I love meditation. So that's something I do.
How long have you been doing meditation? Like, when did you introduce meditation into your daily practices?
I think it was about November, it may have been like October of 2018.
Oh, so a couple years now.
So,
almost.
Yeah, it's been a little over a year.
A little over a year. Okay,
a little over a year where I've done it religiously, like every single day. I might miss a day here and there, but I read a book years ago called 10% Happier by Dan Harris. Do you know this book?
Yes.
Okay. And then I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then I came back to it, and then there's an app, and there's all that stuff. I use a couple of different apps.
Yeah,
but it's really fascinating, and all the some of the biggest corporations in the world are using it in their workplace because their workers are performing better.
That is super amazing.
Crazy. Yeah, Nike uses it, Yahoo, Google.
I've done, obviously, when you're a holistic coach, meditation comes into your practice quite often, and it's something that I've tried to introduce myself. As you said, like, autoimmunity and stress do not go together at all.
It's a bad combination.
And that was one of the things for me that I really had to get under control, and I would venture to say it was probably my like the one thing that if I didn't get under control, that I could not feel better, period. And I do a lot of things.
I know. And I want to say, when I went to my follow-up appointment, my husband came with me. So it was a couple weeks after I was diagnosed, and I will never forget this. So my husband said, he felt helpless. He didn't know what to do. And he said, how can I help her?
Yeah.
And the doctor said, you can help keep her stress level down.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. It had nothing to do with, there was no reversing this diagnosis, but it was like, keep her stress level down. And I was like, wow. And that was the first time in my life where I was really like, okay, stress can really mess you up.
Really wreak havoc.
Yes.
Yeah, no, completely.
So, yeah, I'm a firm believer in any kind of stress-reducing techniques, and meditation is
you
phenomenal.
have really started to integrate that into your business, too, on ways to manage your stress while running a business, because those two things go hand in hand.
Yes, and I led a retreat last year, and might be having one this year, called the Frazzle to Free Retreat. And what I did was I took small business owners, and I talked to them about, I have like a 5-point system that I use for stress management. So, oh my gosh, and now I'm going to try to remember it all. I lost my brain there for a second. The first thing is a morning routine.
Yes.
So I get up earlier than everybody else in the house. I have a little quiet time to myself. I meditate. I have a healthy breakfast. I do a couple little menial tasks that take no time. The second point is meditation. Huge. I could go on forever about that. The third is physical activity. So I love yoga and spin, but I also just love walking my dog at a leisurely pace.
Yeah.
It doesn't all have to be hardcore.
Like crazy, pumping iron kind of,
get moving in some way. The fourth one is community support. I think that's actually the fifth one. But, because I feel like as small business owners, it can get very lonely. And
completely,
my people that are in my community, my small business community, have helped me so much with like practical, tangible things, but also just knowing that I have that support system there. And Tuesdays Together is a group it's nationwide, but there's one here in Morgantown, and they're just the best. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to manage your stress. I think that it's all puzzle pieces that fit together on your health, but I think we really need to get our stress under control.
No, I mean, it's obviously an epidemic. And one place that I see it that I wish, there was a little bit less of is school. And I could go on, and again, I didn't even mean to put that into today's conversation, but it's everywhere, and it starts as young as little kids.
It does, and there's so much of this achievement mentality.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you said that, because my kids are older now. I have one in college and two in high school, and I don't claim to be any expert on parenting or any of that. But I also know deep down in my soul that this running ragged lifestyle that is happening is not good for anybody. It's not good for the family unit, and it's not good for the individuals. And I used to be a teacher. I understand about development, about, so it's hard though when you're a mom and you're trying to do all the things. It's a lot.
And I will say, like, when you talk about balance, that those tangibles that you just mentioned, like doing in your business, you could do in your family.
You can. And there's a lot going on. Actually, I just spoke to a teacher the other day about, and she teaches in West Virginia, about meditation in schools. Yeah.
I'm totally on board for that.
Oh my gosh. She
Completely.
shows us what she does in her classroom. She teaches middle school down in, I think she's in Bridgeport. And I'm like, yes, keep doing that.
No, I would be so on board for that. One thing that was our goal for this last year in our family was saying no more. And I know that's like,
I love the word
that is like the craziest thing. And it was, I started it with myself because to get my stress under control is being able to say no to things that weren't going to fill me up or be something that was good for me or my family.
Right.
And then we kind of like graduated into them, asking them more, like, do you even want to do this kind of situation? Because I would much rather be home hanging out with you and doing something fun and doing something you don't enjoy.
Or even just doing nothing. I mean, there's something so wonderful about doing nothing.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love it.
Like, just not having any need to accomplish and to be productive and
Now, so you and I were talking earlier about social media and how it's a big part of how we run our businesses. And especially businesses like ours where there's not necessarily a storefront, there's not somewhere you can just walk into and kind of find us. And there's a lot of good that can come out of it, especially being able to spread your message, but there's also some stress behind it. Like for me personally, we were talking, I have a really hard time putting myself out there. I would love to talk all day about anybody else or all the statistics in the world or all the advice in the world that I have about health and wellness and purpose, but I have a hard time like sharing me, and I know that it's something that I have to do. And then there's also the vortex, like getting sucked into the vortex. So you recently did a detox, and I would love for you to talk about the detox.
I had no idea how profound that 2 weeks off of social media, like I could talk for days on this. So what happened was the fourth quarter of the year is my biggest. That's when I'm busiest. So obviously in retail, you're busy from October through December. And I had a launch in November, which was, I put a ton of work into, and it was wonderful and super successful, and I was like blown away by the support that I got. I was so excited about that. And then 2 weeks later, I participated in the Handcrafted Cooperative, the holiday market, which was amazing and successful.
I love that market. Yes.
It's so awesome. It's so funny. I've been on like a few podcasts, and like I always talk about the Handcrafted Cooperative, and I swear I don't get any kickbacks. I just love it so much.
No, it's amazing. And I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about it.
It's awesome. And then it was Christmas time, and I was filling holiday orders, and so by the week of Christmas, I was spent. I was just tired.
Fried.
Yeah. And I was also really just wanting to retreat into my own home with just my family and not be available to the rest of the world. Yeah. And that's kind of scary as a business owner.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my business is built on social media, and I love Instagram, and I love getting on there and like maybe brightening someone's day if they're having a crappy day or what, So anyway, I had talked to a friend who ironically I met on Instagram, and she had done one, or she was getting ready to do a social media fast or detox or whatever, and so she gave me a couple little tips on what to do. And so we had, and I'm going to try to keep this short, I'm sorry, but we went to dinner with my husband's brother and his wife, and 3 boys came in from Alabama, and we were celebrating my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Their oldest son, Cooper, was diagnosed with leukemia when he was in kindergarten. Oh, yeah. So we were at a Japanese steakhouse, and he was turning 13. And I'm going to start crying talking about it. It just hit me. I was like, we're celebrating his 13th birthday, and not that long ago, we weren't sure if he was going to live. And so it was December 23rd, and I put in my stories, like, we're celebrating Cooper's life, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I am out. And so I deleted both Facebook and Instagram. I deleted the apps from my phone, which I was a little worried that meant I was going to mess up my accounts, which it didn't at all. So don't worry about it. And then I loved every second of it. Yeah. So what Ashley, the friend that had done one, mentioned was maybe find something else to do in place of social media. So I love to read, but I never read because I don't have time to read, right? Because I was spending 5 hours a day on my phone. So I started reading again, and I just would like sit in my living room in silence and read, or I would just sit. Yeah. And I was like, here was my biggest takeaway. I thought because I'm 45 years old, I am immune to the comparison game that social media has. I get it for teenagers, but that doesn't affect me. Sure. Well, it does. Yeah. So I don't necessarily compare myself on a personal level, but I was really comparing myself business-wise. I was certain that this person was doing the right thing, and then I would scroll and find somebody else that was doing, oh wait, maybe I should do this. No, maybe I should do that. And like my brain was just bonkers.
All over the place, I'm sure,
all over the place. I wasn't sure what I believed, who I was, what I was doing. I just needed a break. So that was my biggest takeaway. Like, the comparison game is real, and I'm just not going to be a part of that anymore.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's really easy to get sucked into that because that's your little world. So you tend to follow people who are doing similar things to you, and then it's really easy to start to question everything that you're doing and everything that you believe in. And
there's a fine line. It's like, yes, I have learned so much from a lot of those people on Instagram. I really have, and I'm very grateful that I follow them, because a lot of the success I've had in business comes from what I learned from them. But it can go over the edge. And 2020. Actually, my word of the year is simplify, and I'm really just going to focus on what I know works and what supports my business and my message, and just go from there.
Absolutely. And it takes a lot of mindset, a little bit, dealing with the social media world, because you really do have to go inward and understand yourself and understand your message and your business and what you're doing to be able to say, all right, I don't care what this person's doing. That's, it's working for them, but it may be not working for me. And it's definitely like this mindset thing. So
it is.
Yeah. And it's a lot of energy.
It is. It's a ton of energy.
Yeah.
And it's it's a waste of time too. A lot of it is a waste of time. And I'm just not gonna, like, time is so precious, like you said at the beginning, and it's just not worth it to waste your time on it.
Well,
I'm back on social media though, and I love it, but I have some boundaries now that I didn't have before. Right,
which is really interesting because you kind of do learn a little bit about yourself. So I, later on, my business is very new, but at some point in the near future, I would like to do like a group detox. Yes. And I would like to learn about myself and kind of, because I have a lot of things that, I don't do anymore that I would love to do more of, and kind of see kind of how that frees up more time and creativity. And
it's just sort of like what I said about the Stay Wild thing, about going back to like who you were when you were young, and what are the things that you do now that, not even necessarily that you did when you were little, but the things that you feel good when you do them. They bring you peace. And for me, reading is something that I love to do. And I'm not saying that everybody has to love reading. Maybe you love cooking. Not me. But,
not me either.
Yeah. Or decorating, or, whatever it is. It's those things really are A, stress relievers for us. Yeah. And B, they really just fill our soul. And I think we can just get so caught up in life and the busyness of everything that we lose those things that refill our soul. And so kind
of going back to like the chronic stress thing we were talking about, it can even add to that a little bit, like not being able to manage your stress if you're constantly trying to disappear into social media and then comparing yourself, okay, well, my life's not like that, or it can even kind of make that situation a little worse, if you will.
And that's one of the things. I actually wrote a blog post about the social media fast, and one of the things that I said was, I was sitting on the couch with my husband, and I was like, I think the reason I spent so much time on social media, because he used to get after me like, oh, you're always on your phone. And I was like, I think what happened was I was trying to like numb my thinking. And so I would get, because I'm an overthinker. I know a lot of people are overthinkers, especially moms. And I would get on my phone as like an escape. Right. Which then it spiraled into more thinking and overthinking. Right. And I was just like, oh, Lord.
Kind of backfired.
I don't need any more thinking, please. Like, my brain needs a break.
Yeah, no, you're completely right, though. I mean, it's like this numbing aspect that you kind of get when you get sucked into the vortex.
But then you come out all mad, and it's like,
or just like frazzled a little bit, just like so much information.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was great. I highly recommend it, and if you do one, I'm there.
Okay,
unless it's like in the fourth quarter, then I
won't do it any like unreasonable time.
Right before my busy season, I probably shouldn't do that.
Not happening. Well, I have absolutely loved our conversation today, and I would love to end by just asking you kind of, if you were to give one piece of advice to anybody listening out there on managing stress or being purposeful or living your purpose, or anything along those lines, what kind of advice would you give?
I would say just give yourself a break. I think we're all really hard on ourselves, and especially in this day and age, and give yourself a break and have some grace with where you are right now. I'm a firm believer that you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. That's not to say that this is where you're supposed to be a year from now, but just kind of chill and just let things be, still work hard and do what you got to do, but give yourself I don't know. I just feel like I want to take all the people and just hug them and be like, it's okay. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Especially like moms. Now that my kids are older, I want to take all the new moms and be like, it's totally going to be fine.
It's going to be
all right.
They're
going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast. I love that you're here, and I love your messages, and I've really enjoyed our conversation. So
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.